Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. And here I am, I'm Naveen and I'm back with a new exciting video. Today I'm going to guide you. I'm going to give you the complete details that you want to know when buying a new laptop. It was something important that everyone should know because not knowing what to prioritize, what are the resources that you should look for when buying a laptop can result in a huge wastage of money because you might buy a laptop that you actually don't need, that actually don't serve the purpose, that don't serve your purpose. So I will start it with my story. When I came to prototype here, I had an HP 255 G8 notebook PC. This was the model name of my laptop, which has just an 8 GB of RAM and 256 GB of SSD, along with a Ryzen 3 processor, which has dual cores. So now I'm starting out with the CPU processor kind of stuff. So let's take the example of my laptop, the current laptop I'm using. When you take the case of when you take a look at the topic of the processor, we will get to know about different models, different model names, and a lot of technical stuff which might confuse you. But here I am to make it simpler for you. So a processor is the head of the computer which does all the processing, which does all the work and gives you the output. So you always need a better processors. But depending on the usage that you have, you can rightly choose the kind of processor you need. So the main levels of processors are like as follows: i3, i5, i7, i9. In the case of Intel chips and even in the case of AMD chips, it is Ryzen 3, Ryzen 5, Ryzen 7, Ryzen 9. That's how it goes. In the case of both Intel and AMD processor chips. So what you have to note is that if you're just a general user, you just want to consume some content and do some PowerPoint or Microsoft Word kind of general stuff, then I would suggest you to stick on with Ryzen 3 or i3 because those are the processes that you need to work on with such tasks. You won't need anything more than that. And then when it comes to the case of some serious amount of programming or coding, and if you are working with a bit more serious stuff, then I would recommend switching into i5 or Ryzen 5 kind of processors. Then if you want more, if you are jumping into video editing kind of stuff, which will demand a lot of processing. And if you are working on data science, ML related stuff, you will actually need a lot of computing power. So in that case, I would suggest you to look forward into i7 Ryzen 7, and if you can also jump directly into Ryzen 9 if you have enough budget. So that's what I would suggest about the processes. So you may actually think, what makes this processes better as i5 becomes i9 kind of thing? What are the changes that each of these processes have? So the main changes are the number of cores these processes have. So a core means normally my processor has dual core, which means that it has two cores. So a core can perform a single task at a time. So when a processor has two cores, it can perform two tasks at a time, which means that two tasks can be executed parallelly at a single time. So the more cores you are having, you can perform multiple tasks simultaneously, which is which means that parallel. So it's always better, and you also need to know about clock speed and some kind of technical stuff which is related to the performance of a single core. And then when it comes to the case of ROM, I suggest you to take at least 8 GB of ROM if you are for a general user. But if you want to do some serious programming and all, yeah, you still can work with 8 GB of ROM. But I would suggest you to go to 16 GB of ROM because it would be a lot suitable. And if you are a MacBook lover and Apple fan, then I would suggest that if you are working with programming, you are a web developer or developing some kind of other technical stuff, working in the IT field, MacBook Air M1 is sufficient. Yeah, for web development, it is sufficient. You need nothing more than that. And but if you want to work in the field of data science or machine learning, if you want to do some serious kind of processing and stuff, then in that case, it won't be enough because it doesn't have the enough SSD or as well as the RAM or needed to support all kinds of processes or tasks that you're doing. So you need to understand these things. And then another thing which you want to deal with is memory, not memory, SSD, the storage that you're having, the disks that your laptops are having. It's something that you need to really care about. Currently, my laptop has 256 GB and I'm really struggling with it. 256 GB of RAM is not, sorry, 256 GB SSD is not enough. It's small. You need more, at least 512. If you can, I suggest you to go to 1 TB. I think for normal users and even for web developers, 512 GB might be enough. But 256 GB is, I feel like it is too small. It is too low. And I'm really struggling with it in managing the storage. So I suggest you to look forward for higher storage. And then when it comes to the case of display and all, it depends on you. It depends on the kind of display you need. In my case, I don't need much brightness. I actually use very low level compared to the potential of my laptop. So I don't care much about the display. So the main things I focus are around processor, RAM, and memory. These are the main things that I do really care about. I don't care anything else. Oh yeah, there is another thing which is known as GPU, which is much important, which is very important, just like RAM, SSD, and all those kinds of stuff. So if you want to do some serious kind of gaming, then GPU is really important because when the games are running, your system will need to render a lot of high amount of visuals, good amount of graphics as well. So to render it effectively, CPU cannot be doing all these tasks alone. So GPU can assist it doing all these tasks very perfectly and effectively. It is something which you need to understand. And when it comes to the case of other, means when it comes to the GPU, sometimes the people who are not playing games, I don't think they would ever need it. Many people say that, yeah, it can support monitor multiple high resolution monitors, but no, you don't need to pay a huge amount of sum for a graphics card for a dedicated GPU to support monitors. Why it's not worth it because integrated GPUs are also capable of doing it. And also, I have heard many ML and data science students saying, "Oh, if I want to train my data models, to train my ML models, I can use the GPU in my laptop." No, yeah, you can use it for the learning purpose, and it will be very small. And in most of the cases, people are using Colab, Google Colab, which is available for free, which provides GPUs for free to do the small amount of ML models training. In that case, you wouldn't ever need the local GPU in your laptop. Why would you need? And if you want to do some serious kind of stuff, do you think the GPU in your laptop is gonna be capable of it? No. You would need a highly powerful, performance-oriented GPUs, and in most of the cases, so in all the cases, people are using cloud GPUs for that purpose. That's the reality. That's something you need to understand. So that's how the things are. And I do believe that you have got a better understanding about how you should prioritize your needs. First, you need to look at what are the things that I'm gonna do with this laptop. So once you write down all your requirements, ask ChatGPT. These are my requirements. So, what are the resources that I need to look for? And what are the things that I should prioritize over other things? Once you understand, prioritize certain resources over the other, then you can act proactively, you can make better decisions while buying a laptop. So, these are the lessons that I learned while I was looking forward to buy a laptop, and I just wanted to share with you guys. I hope you got some lessons. You learned something better. And if you learned, please tell me in the comments section. So, see you again in the next video, the next week. Bye bye.